Well, I'm here with one of the senior journalists, the associate editor of Business Standard, Mr. Sanjay Jog, a very eminent personality in the field of journalism since last so many years, and it's a pleasure to have you over here, sir. The first of all, I would love to know, sir, that in the entire journey of journalism, what do you think was the year where things started happening, the turning point year, big year of your life?
Actually, journalism is a field where you cannot isolate a particular year which you can term as a turning point. There are a couple of it, because journalism is always associated with the public, with a cause, with whatever you take as a sector. So you cannot particularly isolate or identify, but still, there I can at least give you 2-3 major instances which I may look at as a turning point. One is, of course, when I started in 86, 87, after I did my MA in economics and later journalism, diploma in journalism. That time the situation was far different. I mean, journalists used to work in typewriters. They used to literally slog heavily. I mean, that was not an era where you would like to have access so easily. No internets, basically no mobile phones. But you have to just have a legwork and the contacts that you establish. I can still remember the floods of 1989-90, which I covered extensively in Konkan region, which should be from Mumbai here about 120 to 150 kilometers away. People had a very tough time, but despite that, the courage that I could see in their eyes and in their work, tremendous. Hats off to that courage, and which literally survived them, recovered from that losses, and again came back to their, you see. I can understand that the natural loss was heavy, but still. So that was a kind of a point I find that despite all odds, if at all you have got a courage, if you have got that willpower, you can definitely come out of that and just survive and get on. Second thing which I will definitely see is that 1993. That was the year which in the Indian history nobody can forget for 2 major reasons. And unfortunately it happened in the city of Mumbai, and the others happened about some 500 to 700 kilometers from here in Latur. In March 12th, 1993, serial bomb blast took place, 12 bomb blasts. Incidentally, the second bomb blast which took place just 2 minutes from here in Air India building, because right now we are sitting at a Nariman Point, which is South Mumbai's prestigious area, and the Mantralaya is also here, and just that is a seat of this power. We were about to leave that Mantralaya along with the Minister of State for Home to visit the first bomb blast which had taken place in the Bombay Stock Exchange building. And we were about to take a turn when at the entrance of the Mantralaya we could see this huge kind of a sound. And we were taken aback. I mean, for a moment it was a kind of a shock. Nobody was knowing what's happening. Then we realized just at the right hand side there was a huge, the smoke which started coming out. And then we realized, in fact, for the first time we thought that just the bungalows or barracks, what we call, situated just opposite Mantralaya, it would have been just, got affected because of some kind of a fire or blast. But then we realized that the major bomb blast had taken place in a building which is again an imposing wing, Air India building. So we were the first among few to reach at the site and literally take out the persons who were literally caught into that kind of, this scenario. That was a kind of a turning, because I then visited a couple of others also. That was another turning point to see that, okay, look at in this world how the terrorists are there to pursue their own plan of divide and rule, but at the same time there are people who are there to take on such kind of challenge also. Earlier also I had covered 1992-93, 2 bouts of communal riots. That was again, as a journalist, was a major turning point. What had happened on 6 December 1992, the demolition of Babri Masjid, then what led to for a month this communal riots in Mumbai and across, and again the second bout in February 1993. I mean, it was shocking. Means I can understand that the community, each community has its own kind of a respect and a pride, but ultimately when everybody is talking about unity in diversity, everybody definitely goes on arguing or making loud claims about how national integration is a must, and that too in a country like India. then seeing or rather experiencing those kind of again the black incident was a kind of a scenario or a situation which really takes back and thinks, I mean, just to think again, ki, are we really a civilized society? That was major thing. Then again come on 30th September 1993, major earthquake of more than 5.6 on Richter scale took place in Latur in Marathwada district. Huge loss, but hats off to the administration. Mr. Sharad Pawar was the chief minister of the state. He saw to it that without bloody making all those politicians and those in the power visiting and creating a huge problem in the relief and rehabilitation, he supervised right through sitting in Mantralaya, organizing necessary relief and rehabilitation work, and accordingly the situation was brought under control. It again shows that despite huge calamity, people definitely have got a power to tackle it if they really unitedly work together. That was the interesting point. Then there are so many, but still one more turning point which I could definitely say in my journalistic career is that Dabhol power, I mean, as if when the Enron, the now fallen Enron, the now demolished Enron company had come to Maharashtra to set up power project about 1900, about say 2000 plus megawatt, that too on a furnace or what we call a distilled oil base. It created a huge controversy. Ultimately the project which was commissioned was to be stopped, or what we call the termination of the first phase of the project by the Shiv Sena BJP government in 1995. Then again the project was revived in 1996 with couple of changes in the power purchase agreement. But the situation turned so bad that the naphtha they were using was getting so costlier day by day that the drawal of power became really difficult. At one point in time, the power purchase at which they were selling was 35 rupees a unit, which had made no sense. So ultimately in 2001 May, the project had to be closed down. The earlier known as the Enron Relay promoted Dabhol Power Company was again, it again got infamous kind of the way it was, had to be wound up and whatnot. For 5 long years, this kind of an asset which was created was lying idle. But ultimately, some sensible guys in the ministry, the political class, the bankers, the lenders, the public sector undertakings, they can join hands together to revive it in June 2006, and project is now up and running, but unfortunately again it is closed because for want of cash. So there are a couple of things, but I mean, as I told you, in journalism, every day is a day, is a new day. So you have to learn and just go on.
Definitely. So, thanks for your such a great experience sharing with me. Now, media is such an important thing. We all see media as a reflection of our society. But I would love to know from your point of view, what is the significance of the discipline, the media field you are working into? What is the importance and significance? How can it be
First of all, journalism per se, either it is a TV journalism which is now mushrooming nowadays or a print journalism, it has got its own importance. Like everybody says, it is a fourth pillar in Indian constitution. Like the first is of course executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and media and journalism now. It has got its definitely merits and demerits. It has got its says which has proven before the freedom and after freedom also. So, we have not exactly, India has got its own style of functioning when it comes to journalism. We may not have a parallel functioning with whatever is there in developed countries or underdeveloped countries. But Indian journalism or India's media movement, across the globe, it has got its own place. Nobody can challenge that. We have got some 600 plus channels now. We have got some about 20,000 plus publications. Their readership and the circulation runs into few crore. But still, each journalist, for example, like we have got language journalism, we have got English journalism, we have got, the mixed kind of a journalism, then we have got now media. again in different languages. It has got its own importance, and the viewership is also increasing. But to drive home point, I'll just give you two, three important takeaways. One, journalism or media definitely play a major role, or we can say it is a kind of an opening which is available to a member of public to vent their feelings. At the same time, as a journalist, we are it's been termed as if a journalist or a media or press are nothing but ears and eyes of members of public. Whatever is happening, we are reporting it. It can be debated whether it is objective or subjective, but still, journalist and the journalism per se has made this have been quite effective and instrumental to strengthen the Indian democracy. So again, to just say, it is a major kind of an effective weapon, I said, or at the same time effective way of taking up the people's problems at large. Same thing, expose the wrongdoings and accordingly see that how the मी 10 मिनिटात करू काय टीव्ही इंटरव्ह्यू करतो लगेच